cannot believe I'm making this video right now. If you saw the thumbnail, this is about how I failed hiking Half Dome. I am about to hike Half Dome for the second time in less than a month. Originally, I thought I would be making a video about how to hike Half Dome, what's things you should do, things you should pack and plan for. I had this big, grandiose, awesome video that I was gonna create. So I thought it would be fun to review my footage, and we could go through and react to my footage together, and I could show you what I did wrong, so you don't make the same mistakes as me, and how I'm gonna learn from my mistakes when I hike in a month. It's crazy. You know, there's all sorts of details you should take into account when hiking Half Dome, and let's get into this. It's gonna be hilarious, at least for me. Yeah. Say good morning. It's 5 a.m. Hitting the trail. Okay, are we ready?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Gonna make it.
It's so hot. Oh, there we go. So we started the hike at 5 a.m., which is actually a perfectly good time to start. We parked the car near the trailhead and we were ready to go. So off to a good start. And we were really happy. Peak joy. We were so much excitement. Hey. Although this footage seems kind of unremarkable, this was kind of the first sign of the trip that I should have paid more attention to. If you remember of September 2022, there was a large wildfire north of Yosemite. I might have even been in Tahoe. And although there was no fire in Yosemite, there was smoke, residual smoke that was being blown south. So when we were hiking, and at this point it's reaching about 6 a.m., the sun is rising, I remember leaving the car and thinking it smelled like campfire, but it wasn't. I didn't assume it was from a wildfire. I thought it was campsites that were nearby in Yosemite and it was their bonfires. Like, I thought it was a campfire smell. Like, I didn't put two and two together. Obviously, if there's smoke in the air, it's going to affect your hike. As you climb an elevation and the air gets thinner and then you're breathing it in, this ended up affecting me so much more than I could have anticipated. Red flag. I should have realized if I would have known that was smoke in the air, or I suspected that it was smoke in the air, I don't know, like, would I have told me and my friends, let's stop and turn around? Maybe I should have. Oh. You guys, I mean, it's no joke, but like, I am so in awe of Yosemite. I always thought Yosemite was such an overrated place before I had gone. And then finally I visited for the first time to see Firefall. A photographer friend of mine invited me. And if you haven't seen my video on Firefall, definitely go click. I'll put the link in the description below and up in the corner. But nothing has amazed me more than the beauty of Yosemite. And you could just see how excited I am on this hike, because like, this is my first time really hiking the area. And oh my God, Yosemite, you're stunning. I fucked up. I was wrong. I was wrong. You are so beautiful. You deserve all the clouds. Get it. All right, so we've been hiking the Mist Trail up to this point, and I'm pretty sure this is Vernal Falls or Nevada Falls. I forget, I should know. But, you know, we reached the first large falls, and you don't need a permit. You don't need a permit to hike this portion. The Mist Trail is open to the public. But during this hike, I remember climbing up these stairs, and these stairs are something to note. People do say that the first half of Half Dome is the most difficult because of this Mist Trail portion, which it's essentially like a giant Stairmaster. It is stairs all the way up to the top of this waterfall, and the view is chef's kiss beautiful. I remember hiking this and having this like mixed reaction of being like utterly astounded, but like so out of breath. And I was like, shit, I can do this. Like, and I knew I hadn't even reached the halfway point. This part of the trail is just like Stairmaster. It's just stone step after stone step, stone step, stone step. And it feels like forever. But the best part about it is these views. I mean, it's the hardest part of the trail, but it's also the most beautiful part of the trail. 10 out of 10. You can just hear me out of breath going up these stairs. It was like a little sketch. I remember like turning the corner when going up the falls, and it has this like metal railing, which is great, but like it's a bit precarious, you know? I didn't feel like I was gonna fall, but if I slipped, it would have sucked. But the view, I mean, it's a climb. You're climbing to the top of this waterfall. But I remember being like, row, it's a little wild. Again, that's smoke. That's smoke, Alex. Look how happy she is. I am so happy here. That view. So free up the cheaper seats. It comes a Greek tragedy. Oh, you can see here the climb coming up. You are literally at the top of the falls. It's a stunning view. And I can't wait to see this in just a month, because this waterfall, I heard, is just like overflowing. So I wonder what it'll look like when I go again. I remember being pretty tired when I got to these falls, and I still had a bit of more of a climb. You can see you get the falls on the right side and the steps wind up, and it's a bit of a switchback. I was hurting. I remember going, I'm just gonna take some photos. I need a rest. Okay. We're smashing mics in karaoke bars. I really liked this spot of the trail where we stopped to eat. You know, as a hiker, you probably know that sometimes there's these like pockets of spots or like experiences where you really kind of like bond with a community. At this spot, everyone is tired. Everyone is tired, everyone is eating, everyone's kind of laughing together, and it's always just like a nice pulse point when you're surrounded by people who, you know, you don't feel alone. My character's strong, but my head is loose. She hits like... So a funnier thing is there are tons of squirrels in this area. I think a lot of tourists kind of feed the squirrels. Don't feed the squirrels. Don't do it. I know they're cute, but don't. Because when we were sitting there, this one squirrel was so bold, like so bold. And they come right up to you, but try to resist and scoot that little guy away, and do not give him your food. It could be toxic to them. It could make them sick. You just don't know. And of course, leave no trace behind. If you're gonna sit and have a snack, you pack it in, you pack it out. Friendly reminder. Just tired of falling up the Penrose steps. I hate this feeling. And the good news is there are bathrooms along the way. This was, I think, the third bathroom we had run into at the top of the falls. So don't fret none, you're gonna run into the bathroom. But it is my understanding that the last bathroom is in Little Yosemite Valley, where the backpackers campground is. But damn, that mist trail, that climb is something else. So make sure you do leg day. Past me is not wrong. Make sure you do leg day if you're thinking of hiking Half Dome. The key is to do it at your own pace. LOL, do it at your own pace, Alex? The reveal has yet to be given, but we hiked out at like 11 p.m. at night. Cause I'm a slowpoke. I needed lots of rest. Oh, Alex, you idiot. And don't be afraid to take a break. Here's the curve. I think we're about at the halfway mark. We've been taking our sweet time and it's about 10:30. We got this. Don't be afraid to take a break. I mean, take your breaks. Take your breaks. Do not overexert yourself, but like within reason, buddy.
I can't believe we have service in the woods.
Oh, this is so funny. Just as a side note, we were in Little Yosemite Valley. The river was actually on our right side, and we were looking for a spot to actually filter our water, but there was this moment where we like did have a pocket of cell service at this sign near the river. And the reason this is relevant is just in case if you have any emergencies or need to check in with family, it's a great spot to do that. My friend Kristen here, she's calling her mom and just checking in and just going, hey, we're alive. For now. Nobody died. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean.
We're smashing mics in karaoke bars. You're running late.
Okay, I don't have footage of this, and I wish I did. I was at the river, and there's no place to refill your water, and I knew that I had brought a little Sawyer water filtration system. What was funny was I couldn't find a good spot along the river's edge to fill up the bag. Like, it's difficult. Like, there was no place for me to like easily crouch and get a river flow without like getting mud in it or something, you know, like I was looking for the perfect spot. So while like heaving and struggling and trying to fill up this bottle and just only getting a little bit at a time, my freaking glasses, my sunglasses, like an idiot, I had them like hooked into my shirt and they fell into the water. It wasn't deep into the water. I could even see them, but like it was a couple feet maybe. And me and my friends literally chopsticked some wood and like got my glasses out, but I think we wasted nearly an hour of time fishing for my sunglasses. You guys, an hour of time when you're hiking Half Dome is precious. Another Dum Dum Alex moment. I feel like maybe I should start counting them.
I'm just tired of falling.
All right, so this is the last bathroom you're going to see when hiking Half Dome. It's just down the path from the backpacking campground. When I hike, the biggest difference that I'm going to be making when I do my second round of hikes is I will not be hiking Half Dome again in one go. Like, I'm not going to do it all in one day. Our plan is to camp overnight and split it in half, which I think is going to be a lot easier on our bodies, mentally, physically, all that sort of stuff. But more on that later. This is a stunning part of the hike. I'm pretty sure these are redwoods or sequoias going through the trail. It's kind of cool because you're so far removed from the main Yosemite Valley area. You start to feel like you're in the middle of nature as you continue on. And this was a gorgeous part of the trail. Once we started to depart from the river, it was such a treat to get a view of these giant trees. I think that says Half Dome is 2.8 miles away. I think maybe elevation was getting to me at this point, but in my head I kept telling myself, that's not that far. That's not that far. I can do it. I can do it. I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna have to zoom in on this, but I'm pretty sure that is view of either Subdome or maybe the Half Dome climb, because I think I could see people on there. So I kept telling myself, I just need to get there. This was another absolutely stunning spot. It was not too far from Subdome, but we definitely rested here. There was a lot of really funny groups. Everyone who we talked to was really tired. We all wanted to take longer and longer breaks. I didn't film it, but right before this spot, there's a series of switchbacks and I needed to take so many breaks. I was hurting. Like, I was just so physically exhausted. Like, I remember being on the switchbacks, needing to take breaks, and people were passing me. Like young kids, like teenagers, like those guys were just like, boom, boom. And I was like, fuck, I can do this. Like, if you can do this, I can do it. But like, I couldn't. Like, I was doing it. I mean, I was pushing through. But part of why I love hiking so much is the payoff and the physical challenge and all that sort of stuff. But I remember, like, people were starting to pass me at this point. At one point, some guy said,
"Oh, you're just getting to this point now? You should have started earlier."
and we were like, we did start early. We started at like 5 a.m.
And you're here?
And then we were so offended. We were so offended by the attitude, because he could have been nicer. Like, there's nothing that you can change in that situation once you're locked in. It was like, okay, thanks for the advice, but that's not helpful. And now you're just like feeding into my nerves. But anyways.
Bad news, bears. I am literally too tired to make it up to Half Dome.
You can actually hear that my voice is a little scratchy, and there was something kind of wrong, and I didn't know it at the time.
My muscles are hurt. We are arriving so late based on all the breaks. The elevation is no joke, guys. And I just realized, like, we have at least 5 hours to head back down, and part of that's definitely going to be in the darkness. And I just need to, I had this moment where I realized that I am not going to have enough energy to get down and hike for 5 more hours if I climb Half Dome. Even if I make Sub Dome, that's just whatever.
I'm trying to remember what time we arrived at Half Dome. I wonder if I can see. Okay, we did not reach this part of Half Dome, again, which was about Sub Dome, until 3:30 in the afternoon. You guys, that's late. 3:30 in the afternoon, knowing that you're gonna have to hike the entire 8 miles back, and it took you all that time to get to that point. I mean, even at 3:30, we weren't done. I still had to wait for my friends to get back. Not good. Not good. Not good.
And I was kind of being a weight on my group. I think the elevation is really getting to me, and I'm so sad, but I'm glad my friends could go and do the hike. It is so important to me to not hold back my friends, and if they want to go do the cables, they should definitely go do the cables, and they should go kick ass. And as much as I'm sad that I don't get to go do it, I am so happy for them. I might cry a little bit, but safety first. Like,
Popping in here, my group was great. I went with 2 of my friends, my best friend since high school. We've been friends over 20 years, Kristen, and our friend Lorraine. And talk about hype women. We were hyping each other up. We were taking breaks. We've been sharing resources. We got this. It was the best group to hike with, and everyone was so supportive of each other. And I remember when I made the decision to stay, they were so sweet. They completely understood, and I didn't want to hold them back. Like, my biggest thing was, I'm not going to stop anybody from doing what they want to do and checking this out. We had put in so much work. Why would I hold back my group? And I would never do that. So I was like, no, you go, queen, you go, you hike Half Dome, you finish it. I'm going to wait right here.
and the view's not bad. Check that out. Not bad. I think I'm gonna eat some more food, rest my bones.
That's another thing. I mean, I had already climbed, 98% of the trail of the hike to Half Dome. So I was already really high up above the valley, and the views were absolutely stunning. I mean, no shock there. Everywhere you look in Yosemite is beautiful.
I'm sitting here for at least an hour until my friends come back. And it's chilly.
It was really cold. We had hiked at the beginning of September, and generally when the hike, we started in the morning, it was pretty chilly, but you warm up pretty quickly. As you're hiking, you end up not needing your jacket. But when we got up to the top, like after Little Yosemite Valley, and we started making that last bit of the climb, especially at this spot, like this, I would say this was the spot and onward where it was windy, it was cold. I'm really glad I brought a light jacket and my beanie. At this point, the day is kind of cooling down. It was 3:30ish, so like it's only going to get colder from here. So something to note if you're hiking Half Dome, no matter what the season is, definitely remember to at least bring a light jacket and some warm clothes.
I love and hate this trail.
I still love and hate that trail, and I haven't even hiked it for the second time yet.
It is strenuous. It is difficult. By the time I reached the halfway point, I was like, I don't want to do this hike ever again. But now that I haven't made the cables, I might have to come back better than ever, maybe more prepared. My legs are tired. My lungs are tight.
This is kind of one of those bombshell things. How I realized that I was at my limit was I had that realization where I was going to have to hike back the 8 miles. But when I got to this point, I tried coughing and I couldn't. That's never happened to me in my entire life. I am not an asthmatic person. Like, I've never had asthma growing up, so I didn't recognize what it was. But when I got to this point, I literally physically could not pull in enough air to cough. It was frightening. That's when I knew there's no way I could continue this hike because I literally cannot breathe. My body was telling me, girl, stop. You need to rest. And I didn't know what was going on. I just knew it wasn't good. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I ended up going to the doctor after this hike because I still was having trouble breathing after I finished Half Dome. What the doctor ended up telling me was when I couldn't breathe up at the top and I literally could not pull in air, I was having an exercise-induced asthma attack. I did not know that was a thing. Did you know that was a thing? What ended up happening was I went to the doctor. I actually ended up going to the doctor twice. I went once to urgent care and then I ended up going again to my general practitioner because something just wasn't right. At first, they just ended up prescribing me antibiotics, but I still would wake up in the morning not being able to breathe. Finally, I went to a doctor who really listened to me. She essentially said that she was going to treat me for bronchitis because she thought that I had gotten bronchitis from all the smoke inhalation from the hike, that it was a lot, that's what kind of compounded all the issues. And then she had me sit there and like puff on a nebulizer, which is, they put literally a type of antibiotic or a type of medicine that vaporizes it and that you breathe into your lungs so it can kind of clean it out. It helped enormously. And she prescribed me an inhaler, which again, as a non-asthmatic, I have never been prescribed an inhaler in my entire life. I just wanted to, let you know that that can happen. So one of the rules that I'm telling myself when I hike it a second time is if there is smoke in the air, don't hike it, Alex. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. Dangers are real. Like, they're not made up, guys. Like, I know maybe I'm the dummy. Like, it's not like I didn't anticipate this hike being difficult, but there were factors that I think I overlooked. So I definitely walked out of this hike smarter. I am a smarter hiker. I'm a more cautious hiker. I am going to be constantly more aware. That being said, that's why it's important for me to talk about. It can happen to anyone. I am an experienced, seasoned hiker who has zero asthma medical history, zero breathing problem history, has always been really capable. These things can just happen to anybody. This is my PSA to tell you, consider everything.
It hurts to admit, but I just want you to know, whoever's watching, it is okay to fail because failure is also doing the right thing sometimes. Sometimes you have to choose your health and your safety first. And I don't really consider this a failure anyways. I've climbed, almost 8,000 feet, I think. 8,000 feet? 10,000 feet? Something crazy. I've hiked over 8 miles. I've gained over 5,000 elevation. It's still a reward to get up here. And I'm very, very proud of myself. And I hope my girls make it to the top.
So, PSA dose. It's okay to fail, guys. It's totally okay to fail. I wanted this so bad. And I was so sad that I couldn't keep up. It was such a harsh reality for me. But I had to do the right thing. And I think that we all need to accept in all things that it's okay to fail. You can go and try your damnedest and try your hardest and do everything that you can to make your dreams a reality. But I think that's the biggest accomplishment, finding the courage to start, finding the courage to do it at all. So I'm really proud of myself for hiking this, and I can tell, I was really sad, but I'm also really proud of my friends for continuing on. So just don't be so hard on yourself. And I'll try not to be so hard on myself too. You don't have to be Superman. You're just human. And that's still amazing.
Okay, Kristen, where are you?
I'm at Half Dome. home.
On the cables, right? And behind is all of Yosemite. We are about 8,000 feet above the valley floor. It's a long hike. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Even though that is a vertical video, I just have to show it because I'm really proud of my friend. You know, every person in our group had a different level of success. I had hiked 98% of it and was really proud of myself. My best friend Kristen, she made it to the cables. I think I'll pop up some photos here, to show that our friend Lorraine actually did make it to the top. You know, there was 3 of us who went, and she made it to the top of Half Dome. Again, just one more view of where I was hanging out. I had just woken up from a 20-minute nap, feeling like a new person, feeling like I could actually conquer the end of this hike. When I look at these photos, I am pretty sure they didn't make it back to me until close to 5, which is crazy. I actually don't have any more footage after this. But as you can see, if we started the hike around 5:30 to head back, there was absolutely no way that we were going to make it back during daylight. Just impossible. And I remember just being like, got my hiking poles and we trekked down. It wasn't until we got to Yosemite Valley, that is when the sun set completely. This is your friendly reminder to always bring a headlamp when you are hiking, even if you plan on coming out when the sun is up, because things out of your control could easily happen, which happened to us. So we popped on our headlamps and we made our way through Little Yosemite Valley. We had made the decision, which was normally when people hike back on Half Dome, they take the John Muir Trail back. It adds an entire mile to your hike back, but is easier on your knees. It's less of a decline going down because we felt like we were on a time crunch. We hiked down, back down the Mist Trail. It's hard to say if that was like the wrong choice. I remember hiking in pure darkness and getting to the top of the Mist Trail and only being able to hear the waterfall, not being able to see it. I couldn't see it. It was loud. And I thought, man, I cannot see a thing. If a bear were to be around, I would have no idea. Cue secondary fear, like, and we just tried not to think about it. Generally, the whole entirety of the hike was just the 3 of us, with just the pure raging sounds of the waterfalls around us. And you guys, these stone steps are steep. They felt steep going up. They felt especially steep going down. It was during the middle of heading back down the Mist Trail where my knees started to feel like they were just straight up giving out. But I remember being at the very back of the line. It was Lorraine, Kristen, and then me. We were all probably about 10 to 20 feet apart. And I fell. You guys, I fell down 2 steps and I caught myself. I had grabbed like a boulder on the right side, but I had already stumbled down too. It hurt. I hurt myself. And I thought if I would have fallen to the right, I would have fallen into the abyss, to a waterfall. I don't even know where I was on the trail. It was so dark. I was spooked. And I remember saying, I said, Kristen, I yelled her name and I was like, I just fell. And she was like, what? And I was like, I fell. And she was like, don't fall. And I was like, I'm trying not to. I got back up and I felt like I just had this little rush of adrenaline that pushed me that little bit further because I was so alarmed at the fact that I actually fell. It's a scary story to look back on, but we kept trekking. We had made it through the Mist Trail and we were back on flat paved trail. It was the last section of the trail, but it was also very steep. Long story short, long story long, whatever it is, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. We didn't make it to our car until about 11 p.m. 11 p.m. guys. You can judge me for whatever you'd like to judge me for. Maybe I shouldn't have taken so many breaks. I shouldn't have hiked in the smoke. Maybe my lungs would have been better. Maybe I would have been able to handle the elevation better. Maybe I should have prepped more. What a crazy experience. And I can't believe I'm doing it again. What am I thinking? It is literally, I think, 25 days away from today that I will be hiking Half Dome for the second time. There's all sorts of things like that stars need to align. We got the permit, but what's kind of strange about getting the Half Dome permit, knowing that we wanted to camp, is in order to camp at Little Yosemite Valley, you need to get a wilderness permit in order to camp there. We won the lottery for the Half Dome permit. Yay! Very exciting. 2 years in a row. Fuck yeah. But we went to go book the wilderness permit, or at least to check when those dates were available, and they had already passed. And I thought, well, that blows. So like now I can't book my wilderness permit in advance to getting my Yosemite permit. So it's not even guaranteed at this point that I'll be able to camp. So they do have a system in place where if you didn't make it to the one that is, I think, like 6 months in advance, something to that, it's quite a bit. They do release a large set of permits 7 days prior to the day that you need. Okay. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. So as of right now, when I'm recording this video, in order to camp halfway through, we have to wait until 7 days before in order to even secure that. So that is a bit nerve-wracking. We've all discussed it and said that if we didn't get the wilderness permit, we still want to try and do it all in one day. I have to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous about it, but again, more physically fit. I've lost a lot more weight. I feel mentally ready. I know what to expect. There's all these different positives that make hiking it all in one day, again, more doable. I'm just praying that we get the wilderness permit. But like, it's kind of held up a lot of our other plans. Your hike and the way you pack your gear and the way you plan your trip changes if you're staying overnight. So that kind of sucks that we're going to have to wait until 7 days before to apply for the wilderness permit. It also gets in the way of booking accommodations. You know, if we do it one day, do I need to book an Airbnb for 2 nights? Or if we do get the wilderness permit, will I only need it for Sunday night? Well, if you know anything about booking in Yosemite Valley and Airbnb, you know, they book really fast. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I feel more prepared. There's some gear upgrades that I'm planning on doing. And again, like it's affecting how we're planning for this hike. And that makes me a little bit anxious as a planner. So all I can focus on is my fitness and my mental health in order to prepare for this hike accordingly. I am very excited to do it the second time. At first, I wasn't sure if knowing what to expect was a detriment, because it's kind of nice going in head empty, no thoughts, to like not knowing what's ahead of you. But the closer I get to the hike, I'm actually really glad that I know exactly what to expect. And rewatching this footage, I just know that this is going to be better second time round. So don't make the same mistakes as me. I hope you learned something from this video. And if you have any questions about what it's like hiking Half Dome and asking me more about my failures, like I want to talk about this. I want to talk about failing things more. We always see these epic adventures and these epic things that everyone does, and we don't talk about our failures enough. And I just wanted to showcase how I made my journey, the mistakes that I made, and I want to be able to help you. I want to be able to help other future hikers or people who are thinking about doing the hike and don't know what to expect. You know, let's talk about it. So leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you so much, and I'm hoping to catch you in the next one. And let's hope that one of my next videos is actually hiking the entirety of Half Dome. Catch you in the next one.